Hi, everyone. Let's begin with the webinar. Hello, welcome. Good morning to everyone. I hope you're all doing well and I hope you're all staying safe. From the entire team of Omnify, I welcome you all to the first webinar of this year, first webinar of the series, Reopening Pools Safely in 2021. My name is Shreya Ganesh. I am the Product Marketing Associate at Omnify. I'm co-hosting this webinar. And also with me is Moinak Mukherjee. He's the Business Development Manager at Omnify. We will get to meet him shortly. But it's not just the two of us. Our entire team of Omnify is behind the scenes. So feel free to put in any questions, messages, whatever you want. Put it in the chat and our team will readily get back to you. If you have no questions, just pop in to say hi and we'll respond to you. So before we begin the webinar, let's talk a little about Omnify. So Omnify is the world's simplest and most affordable booking and reservation platform. Omnify streamlines all aspects of business and operations, including scheduling, memberships, events, subscriptions, communications, and so much more. So last year with the COVID pandemic, I'm sure a lot of businesses got affected. Everyone had to deal with so many new rules and new ways of adapting to these times. With Omnify, just in the last year, Omnify helped over 1,000 properties reopen their pools. Not only pools, we work across industries with property managers, recreation, sports and fitness industries, education, and this is just some of the many industries that we work with. One of the vision that we have set for 2021, every single member at Omnify strives every single day to do just this. We want every single member of the community to get access to the pool in this summer in the safest way possible. And that is exactly what this webinar is all about. Today in this webinar, we're going to be talking about the best practices one can adopt to reopen their pools in the best way. So we are going to cover all of these points. We're going to cover the best way to set up an online reservation platform. We're going to cover how to create a fair system with booking restrictions so that every member of the community and their families get equal access to the pool. We're going to talk about how to implement contactless check-ins feature because that's the need of the hour. Along the same lines, how to enforce COVID-19 liability waivers, and finally, how to manage memberships for your pool. And to do this, to walk you through each of this, I'm going to call upon Moinak. Moinak, please take over.
Thank you, Shreya. Thank you for the intro. Hi, everyone. I'm Moinak, as Shreya has already mentioned. And so enough of intro. What I'm going to do is jump straight into the product, straight into how Omnify is going to solve each of your problems, each of your limited capacity issues. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Shreya, if you could stop sharing, then I'll be able to. Thank you so much. Yes, I hope everyone can see my screen here. So what I have in front of me is what we call the Omnify Service Store. And within the Omnify Service Store, you can actually set up all your facilities. Could be pools, could be rec centers, could be gyms, could be fitness centers. And this is where your members, your residents, your community members would come in and make their own reservations. So for every community or every HOA, however you term it, everyone gets their unique URL. For example, mine says kingsquarehoa.getomnify.com. Similarly, yours would stay your HOA name.getomnify.com. And this is the URL that your residents would be using to go on and make reservations for their favorite pool slots. There are a couple of ways in which the residents will get access to this URL. One way is you can just share this URL over an emailer or something. The other way is if you have a list of your residents with you, you can import that in the system. Once imported, Omnify sends an automatic welcome email. The welcome email contains the store URL as well as the login credentials. So this way, the members do not need to create an account from scratch. They can just log in and start making reservations. So what I have in front of me is an entire day schedule. So I have a few rec center slots. I have a few pool slots, which are there throughout the day. And there's also a date picker. So for a resident, they can actually navigate between the dates to see the slot of their preference for the day of their preference. So let's say I want to make a reservation for today itself. I'm already logged in into my account. Similarly, a resident needs to be logged in into their account to make a reservation. Now, I actually want to book into my favorite pool slot, which is 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And I can see that there are 50 slots available, while the 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. has only 47 slots out of the 50 slots available. With the pool slots, you can see a pattern that each of my pool slots are 1 hour, 30-minute long, and each of them has a 50 people capacity. Also, interestingly, between two pool slots, I have added a 30-minute buffer time. This buffer time can be used for disinfecting as well as cleaning the pool. Or even in some cases, the pool monitors can actually ask members to leave the pool if there is a next slot coming up. So again, I'm going to book this 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. slot. All I need to do is go on, click on reserve. Once I do that, I can see 7 days of slot at a time. This is because I, as an admin, have set up a 7-day booking window. A booking window is nothing but how many days prior do you want to open the slots for reservation. So it could be 1 day, 2 day, couple of hours, even a month-long booking window, whatever works for your use case. And this practice keeps it equal and fair for everyone. One person does not go in and books for the entire summer and like takes away all the slots. So this way you can regulate the access. So I'm going to book for Tuesday 10 a.m. and there are 50 spots available as you see. Also, I want to go into the pool with my family. So I'll just select family here and proceed to the next step, which is adding family members into the booking. So it's very seamless and simple. Anyone can use it. So in order to add my family members into the reservation, all I need to do is just select them. And in case you have some other guests that you want to bring along, as I saw Donna had a question earlier. So in case you want to bring along a guest, you can just add them here. Now I want to go into the pool with Cindy Hawkins and Moinak Jr. So I'll just move to the next step. I've selected them as attendees. In the next step, this is something that is a new feature that we've added since last summer. So this is a pre-COVID declaration form, and this is optional. So for any admin, they can either make it a mandatory field or can leave it as an optional field. So for my case, I have made it a mandatory field. So every time a resident signs up for themselves as well as the family members, they need to fill this information. And this would also show up in the check-ins flow. So I've answered the relevant questions and I can move on to the next step now, which is a liability waiver. So as you probably know, the liability waiver is absolutely customizable and you can have your own wordings in the waiver. So in case you want to have your own custom waiver, please go ahead, you can do that. Now I'll just accept this waiver. So it's imperative for a resident to accept a waiver in order to proceed with the reservation. This is my review booking page where I'm booking the 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. slot for 3 attendees for 13th April. Everything is set. I can just click on confirm reservation and that's all. So that's how easy and seamless the booking experience is for the residents. And that's exactly what Omnify has worked towards in the last few years to make everything simple and easy. You don't need rocket science to book into a pool slot. You just need a system or a mobile phone and you can do this. So now I can just add this reservation to my calendar in case I want to be notified before the slot. Also, I get access to a residence profile. So within the residence profile, I can go in and see my list of upcoming slots as well as my past slots. And in case I need to cancel one of my reservations, I can just go into details, click on cancel booking. What I have is I have an option that I can cancel for either one or two of the family members, or I can cancel for everyone in a single button. So let's say I want to cancel Moinak Jr.'s booking. So I just select the cancel button and that's it. So that's essentially how the booking flow is for the residents. That's how the front end works for Omnify. Now what we'll do is you've seen how the residents booking flow works. Now let's move on to what an admin would see. If you log in into your Omnify dashboard, what would you see? So this is how the Omnify dashboard looks like. Within the Omnify dashboard, an admin can actually create these slots that I just booked. And an admin can book people into slots from the dashboard, from the front desk. You can check in people when they arrive for their pool slots. You have an ability to schedule auto emails. And as well as you can set a lot of restrictions around who gets to book a slot or how many slots can you book. So I'm going to cover all of that one by one. First thing that I'm going to do is talk about check-ins. So check-ins is one of the most important features so that you can keep a track of who's coming into the pool and who's not. So in the check-ins view, this is a newly launched check-ins view since last summer. Within this check-in view, I can see the list of attendees who are coming in for each of these time slots. And I also have an option to filter this by the particular time slot I want to view. So let's say for the 8 a.m. slot, I have 3 attendees who are coming in. For the 6 a.m. slot, there were 2 attendees who came in, and while one person did not show. So then a no-show tag is marked. So now for the 8 a.m. slot, there's Moinak Mukherjee, Moinak Jr., and Cindy Hawkins who are booked into the slot. So whenever they come into the pool, you can just click on the check-in button here to mark check-in with the timestamp. So this is again something which is vital. Let's say you have a 4-hour long slot and you want to keep allowing people into the pool. So you'll have an idea that who's coming in at what time. That's how the check-ins flow works. There's another way in order for you to carry out the check-in. So if you have a computer or an iPad or anything at the front desk, you can actually use our front desk check-in or web check-in app. So in here, if you just enter the resident's first name, their slots for today would show up. You can just select the slot they're coming in for and mark check-in. Within this view, you can also see their membership details as well. There's another check-ins flow that we are introducing, which is around contactless check-in. So we are actually adding a QR check-in feature, which I think some of you might have an idea about since someone came on the chat. And yeah, so with the QR check-in, we don't have it right now, but I think it's coming in the next couple of days. With the QR check-in, your residents will have an option to just scan a QR code at the front desk and have access to their slots for the day. They can self-check-in. So this can be done on any mobile phone. And for more details, stay tuned. We are going to cover QR check-ins in the next set of webinars. Now, moving on from the check-ins, let me show you how the auto emails work. So as I mentioned earlier, Omnify gives you access to several auto emails, and each of the auto emails are absolutely customizable, as you see. So we have account-specific emails where the first one is the welcome email. So if you remember, I had spoken about the welcome email, which is the email that is sent out when the residents are imported in the system. This welcome email contains the stored URL as well as the login credentials. Similarly, we have certain team member specific emails, which can be used for your internal staff communication. And then there are booking specific emails where there's booking confirmation, cancellation, reschedule, as well as a reminder email that goes out 24 hours prior. We also have a waitlist feature. So where there's a waitlist email for that. How waitlist works, let's say I want to book into one of my pool slots and I see that, oh, the entire slot is occupied. So what do? I have an option to add myself to the waitlist for the slot. Now, whenever there's a vacancy in there, everyone on the waitlist is notified via the same waitlist email at the same time that, hey, Moinak, a slot opened up in your preferred time. And if you're still interested, here's the link. Please go ahead and make a reservation. So whoever books first from the waitlist, they get the slot, and thus it works on a first come, first serve basis. This model of waitlist is created in order to keep it equal and fair. So as you might have guessed so far, Omnify really strives towards working for an equal and fair usage at the pool. So these were the auto emails, and you can explore more around the auto emails once you start using the system. The next feature or the next thing that I'm going to cover is the calendar view. So within the calendar view, you can actually view the entire week schedule or a monthly schedule or even a daily view. So if I move to a daily view, what I can see is I can see all the slots that are scheduled for the entire day. This is again from the admin side. And if I go into one of the time slots, I can see the list of attendees who are signed up for the particular time slot. So I can see that Moinak Jr., Moinak Mukherjee, and Cindy Hawkins are signed up for this slot. Cindy Hawkins is already checked in, and you have an option to cancel people's reservations from here. As well, you can go ahead and check in people from the calendar view. Also, you can get a quick insight into how many people have checked in already, how many have canceled, and how many are on the wait list. Now, interestingly, in a lot of use cases, we've seen that, let's say, God forbid that does not happen, but let's say there's a thunderstorm and you need to cancel the entire slot, or the entire 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. slot. So what you can do is you can actually send a message to all the attendees that, hey, there's a thunderstorm, and that's why we're shutting down the pool slot that you booked, and then cancel, so that everyone is notified, okay, this is why my slot is canceled for today. And that's something that you can do with the calendar view. Also, we give you the option where you can take a printout or daily printout or daily export of the list of attendees per time slot, and that you can do from the calendar view as well. The next thing is in every HOA or in every community, there always are a few people who somehow struggle in order to book a slot online themselves. So they still have an option where they can call you in at the front desk, and you can actually make a reservation for them from the front desk. So that can be done using the front desk bookings here. And even on the front desk, you can see the list of all the reservations that you've received, the booking details, etc. So yeah, that's how you can take reservations. You can make front desk bookings. Uh, you can also you also get access to a consolidated clients view. So within this profile, clients profile, you can see each one of your residents. If you go into one of the residents profiles, you can see the list of slots that they are booked into. So I'll just wait for this to load. Yeah, so I can see the list of like my entire booking history. I can see the signed copy of the waiver corresponding to each slot. Their entire check-in history is also visible. Their upcoming schedule, their membership detail. So I will cover the membership bit the next, but you can see their membership status, and you can see the list of family members they've added into their account. Also, if you make your residents add a profile picture from the front desk, they can also see it here in the client profile. Now, since I just mentioned about the memberships, so what is the importance of membership, or how does membership work? Uh, as I mentioned earlier, every account will have their own URL. So anyone can have access to the URL, right? So let's say I am a member with your community and I have access to this URL. Now I go ahead and share this URL with a friend of mine who's not a member. I'm sure you would not want non-members to go ahead and book pool slots with you. So in order to regulate that, in order to control who is allowed to book into a pool slot and who's not, we have members only access. So when you're importing your members in the system, we also mark them as members with Omnify or members with your business. And once you mark them as members, you can enable members only booking. With members only booking, only your members will be able to book into pool slots, while your non-members, even if they try to book into a pool slot, the system will stop the booking from going through, and they'll get an error message saying, hey, you're not a member. If you still are interested into booking a slot, please contact the admin or something like that. So that's how members only access or members benefit work. Next thing is you can set restrictions around how many slots is someone allowed to book in a day, in a week, or in a month. So these are under booking restrictions here. Let's say I want an individual to book only a maximum of 3 slots in a week. So I can define that. I can define a limit on that. I also have an option where I can define that, okay, the entire family can book a combined of 5 slots in the week, or let's say 20 slots in a month. So this is how you can set restrictions around how many slots someone is allowed to book in a day, week, or month. So these are the relevant features and restrictions that you can set up with Omnify. Also, something around the administrative end, you can define access around your team members. So you can define that, okay, so let's say I have 5 staffs. So there are 2 front desk staff and there are 3 admins. So you can define who has access to what. So if, let's say if there's an admin, so the admin needs to see everything that is there, while a front desk staff does not necessarily need to see everything. They should only be able to see check-in details, etc. So you can define access here under access management. So I think I have covered all the relevant features that Omnify has to offer. And I would love to hear some questions that I think Shreya or Pulkit or Ashrit will take up in the Q&A later. I hope my session today was informative enough for everyone, and I hope I could answer some of your questions. Shreya, over to you. You can proceed and yeah.
Thank you, Moinak. That was quite an insightful session, guys. Don't you agree? Awesome. There are so many questions that have come in. I'm going to pick a few from the chat and okay, let's see. Okay, so one of the questions I was asked is how are attendees organized in the check-in screen? Are they alphabetical? Are they according to who books in first? How does it work?
So to answer that, the attendees are organized in the order of their booking, but there is an option for you to sort alphabetically. There's an option for you to search for attendees. So you can just search in their name and you'll find the attendee there. Also, there's an option where, let's say let's say there's a family booking and there's a family of Thompsons in there. So you can just find Thompson and you'll see a list of all the Thompsons that are booked in under the same account. Shreya, do you want to take the next question?
Yeah, okay. So there's another question by Mark. He asks if he has multiple, multiple different units which can book different number of, like there are different restrictions in different number of facilities. How do you go about that? Like if one facility can only have 4 and the other can have 6, how do you go about that?
Very, very interesting and nice question, Mark. So we are actually building a feature around this. I think it should be in the system in the next 2 to 3 weeks maximum, but that's something that we've been asked often and we've already taken that up.
Awesome. Okay. There's another question that has come in. This is, will there be a way to set restrictions on specific classes? For example, setting restrictions on how many times a member can sign up for one class, a different number maybe for another class.
Yeah, this is the same solution as Mark's question and could be done the same way.
Awesome. I think we have covered a lot of questions. I think this is about it. Guys, if there are any more questions that I have missed out on or my team has missed out on, feel free to reach out to us via email. You can mail us anytime at sales@getomnify.com and we will be sure to reply to all of your questions very, very soon. So guys, that brings us to the end of the webinar. Thank you so much for attending the webinar. Before leaving, I have a couple of things to tell you guys. First of all, your feedback is super important. Our team is going to share a feedback link in the chat. Please take out 2 minutes of your time to fill the feedback form. It'll only help us grow and learn and be better for the next set of webinars. So I think if you missed the link in the chat, don't worry about it. We will definitely share it via email after the webinar. If you really enjoyed our product, if you want to know more about our product, please feel free to schedule a demo with Omnify's product specialist. They will give you an in-depth demo of the entire platform. Again, the link to scheduling a demo will be shared in the chat. If you missed that, it will definitely be shared via email as well. Once again, thank you so much for attending the webinar. We will be coming up with so many more webinars of the same kind. Keep your eyes peeled for them. You can scan the QR code, go to our website, poolisopen.org, and explore for yourself. Thank you so much, everyone. Goodbye. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for attending. I hope you had a good time.